Sound like a low battery.
This one will work without battery.
Yeah.
Well, yep, by getting it charged up. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
For those of you who are watching this film, it is May, I think the 3rd already?
5th.
The 5th.
Fifth.
May.
Today the 5th. Today the 5th. Happy birthday.
Okay. Today is the 5th, 2012. We are at the home residence of my Aunt Glenor, and we're here with her siblings, Aunt Dora, and my favorite Uncle Roger. So y'all want to wave and say hello to all the family?
Hello.
Today is another special day. For those of you who do know, I have taken on to do a documentary about our family, for our family, and I'm putting together a DVD. And if you want to know what's so special about it, it's just good for the family to be able to have a DVD in your own home about the Smith family. Many of us are getting a little older and hopefully wiser, as far as myself. And we look back and we think of things we wish we had recorded and we didn't. So today we're going to make a difference, and we're going to just talk about somebody who's very special, my grandfather, Vonish Smith, and his wife, my grandmother, Della Smith. So we're going to kind of start from scratch. And how's everybody feeling today?
Good.
Very well. Very well.
All right. All right. I'm going to start over here. Dora, would you mind sharing your full name, how old you are, and your birthday?
My name is Dora May Edge. Dora May Smith Edge. I'm 69 years old.
All right.
My birthday is November 29, 1942.
Okay. All right. Aunt Glenora?
My name is Glenora Smith Graham King.
She's famous, y'all.
and that's no shame in my game.
I love it.
And I have 5 lovely children.
Okay.
Alphonsa Graham Jr., Burnell Graham, Audrey Graham, and also add to this youngest, Valerie Danita King, and Mr. Glenn King, which is Boo Boo King.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that, because we're going to get to the siblings in a little while if you state your name and your birthday for now.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I went beyond.
That's all right. All right. And now to you, Rogers.
Oh, yes. This is Roger Smith, I think. Born August 8, 1933.
All right.
And
Okay.
that put me to be 78 at the present time.
Okay. All right.
Born in
19. August 19.
Hey, what I think?
8.
Okay.
All right. We're making a correction here. You do know it's August.
Yeah, August 19th.
All right. And Uncle Roger, since the camera's on you right now, could you please share the full names of who your parents are?
My father, Vonish O. Smith, and my mother, Della Martilla Smith.
All right. And if you could share, where did you grow up in the South? What was the name of the town?
Well, I was born in Old Dock, North Carolina, and brought up in Lake County, North Carolina.
Okay. I just want to share, any one of you want to answer this question. Did you all attend school?
Yes.
All right. And what grades did it go up to at that time, Aunt Glenora?
What grade did it go to when I finished? What grade did I finish?
Yes.
12th grade.
12th grade. Okay. I'm going to start with you, Aunt Dora. What kind of work did your parents do?
He was a farmer.
Farmer. Okay. And what kind of work did you all do as kids?
We worked on the farm.
You worked on the farm?
Yeah.
Like, even what we do, hand
We
tobacco,
Mm-hmm.
cropping tobacco.
Hold the corn, hold the tobacco, what else?
Sucking tobacco.
You want to explain that for people who don't know what that is? Sucking tobacco.
Take the suckers off.
Well, well, it's not really a weed, but it's kind of like something that will put into the tobacco that will stunt the growth of tobacco. So you call it suckers. So it come in to stunt the growth of the tobacco, but it wasn't a weed, but it was something like equivalent to sucking the tobacco so it wouldn't grow. So we had to go in when we see it's in the between the back and the stalk.
Mm-hmm.
You had to pick it out, and boy, that's hard work.
Oh, okay.
That's real dirty work. Your hand get gummy and all that good stuff.
All right. Do you want to share anything on that, Uncle Rogers? You know about that?
Yeah, I know about it. All you did was get the growth of the tobacco that took the strength away from the weight.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it took, sucking off, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I want to ask anyone who would like to answer this. Was it hard living in the South back in your day? Who wants to take on that question?
To me, it was hard, but I look back over, that was our livelihood. We got used to it. And so, like, as far as the eating and so forth, I see now there's no good eating like there was back down in the South. We call that poor eating, but that we really were eating rich, but didn't realize it. Even though you couldn't spend as much money for things that, you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like back down south, things that we thought was poor. Give it to us now, old fresh fish and good old stuff like that, and neck bones. Get 10 pounds for $1. Up here, if you get 10 pounds, you go pay about, how much money? About $20 yeah.
Okay. Now, how many of you actually have gone fishing? How many?
I have gone fishing.
You've gone fishing?
All of us.
All of you gone fishing? So most of the time you would catch your own fish. Unlike today, you just go to the market and get. I mean, I know people still fish, but.
Oh no, they just went fishing for a hobby, but more likely you bought the fish for the fish man. Daddy was a fish man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we went, close by fishing too.
He was a fish man, but he also put fish in the smokehouse, sort them down for the winter. He learned how to reserve stuff for the winter. Okay. We didn't have no refrigerator and freezer, so put them in it, sort them down.
Okay. Now that was my next question. I'm going to direct that over to Uncle Rogers, and then you all could join in. We're talking about my grandpa, Vonish Smith. Do you want to share with the family, Uncle Rogers, what kind of man was Grandpa Vonish Smith in the early days?
Well, Vonish Smith was strict and honest.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Yeah. Strict and honest, that's it.
Okay. Strict and honest. All right. And I'll go to you, Aunt Dora. What would you say, what kind of woman was Della Smith, my grandma, Della Smith, in the early days?
She was a very, very nice lady, respectful lady, and a hard worker.
Okay. Did they attend church?
Yes.
Did you all attend church?
Yes.
Okay. Was that a rule in the house? Could you stay home if you wanted to and lay back on Sunday?
There was no question. To church on Sunday, you had to go. You
had to go?
Was no question.
Okay. And the church, even though most people know, but in case some don't, what was the name of the church?
Zion Payne Baptist Church.
Okay. Do any of you remember who the pastor was at that time?
Dave Flower.
What's the name again?
Dave Flower.
Dave Flower. Okay. I'm gonna go back to Uncle Rogers. Did your parents believe in discipline or spanking?
No, they believe in whipping you.
Okay. So they believe in whooping. Now, when you say whooping, what was the choice of items to use for whippings.
A tree.
A tree? Now, okay, we're going to keep it real here. Now, who got the most whoopings and for what?
David Lee.
Well, Uncle David Lee been popular on the film lately, y'all.
Yeah.
I think he got more beating than anybody.
I think David got a whoop because he didn't care.
Oh,
They
okay.
said it didn't hurt no longer. Stayed on it. Get on
He'll
it.
take for some of us.
Take
He
a
felt like he
rap
got in trouble. He tell us he'll take. They don't last so long. You get it.
Wow.
You take rap for us. Like we got some parents from across the field. Nobody didn't live over there, but it still wasn't ours. And we had a parents. We didn't really call ourselves stealing. I guess it was stealing too, according to Dad. And so we had the parents over there. And so so we was getting ready to say, I was scared. I don't know about Dora, and I was getting ready to say, I did to say, I'll take the rap. Don't hurt no longer. Stay on there. I did it. And Daddy took about 3 black gum switches and beat him. I don't think he cried, but
Wow.
he sure beat him. I don't remember him crying. Did he ever cry?
Oh yeah, I remember one time, particular, he was crying, get on, and then shut up that noise. So he said noise, but shut up, stop the crying. It hurt, Daddy. I remember that.
Daddy probably laughed about that.
Okay.
Daddy had, I don't think he had, when he whipped me, he didn't have no laughs in it.
But I mean, I guess he had to kind of calm down on that one.
But I told that about David, but I remember one time he whooped me.
Uncle Roger's got a whooping? Whoa.
I got some whooping.
You got some whooping.
When I think about it, each one I got, I deserved them. Because one Sunday I went to church and I tore my pants on, because they were on a truck, and Daddy, mother sewed them up, went back the next, Dad told me to get back on that truck. The very next Sunday, I went back and got on that same truck and tore my pants again.
Wow.
And when Daddy got home, so we take care of it later. He went down somewhere and cut him tree down and got a big old switch. And he so we take care of it now. I said, put that switch down. I didn't say put that switch down. That would be a bad word to say to Daddy. That switch too big. Get a little switch. He said this one to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he said this one to do. Yeah.
Put that down, David.
Yeah, that was too big.
Oh, wow.
I remember Dick Lee, when I guess he was about 14 years old. And mother called herself beaten. So she beat him. She whammed in what she had.
Yeah.
So she turned my little, he come back up to her, Mother, hit me as hard as you can with your fist right here. I remember that. Lord have mercy. That would let her know you ain't did a thing to me.
Okay.
Since we talking about getting beaten, we gotta talk about my sister. And down south, we didn't have no gas stove, oil stove. We had wood stove. So my daddy had told her, Glenora, get up and build a fire. So Glenora be kind of, ease up. She built the fire and eased back in the bed. So my daddy eased up. He didn't check the room to see where the fire going. He in there and beat her. Powder. I told you to build a fire. I built that fire. And she cried all day long.
Sure did.
Daddy went off work and come out. He said, Della, what's wrong with that girl? I said, she's crying for you beating her. And she made a fire. Della, why didn't you tell me she made a fire? She said, because I was right in the bed with you. I didn't know, you didn't know. He paid her $1, so she was crying.
Aw, that's so cute.
And again too, what I don't understand was I was putting on me all my brothers and things. Well, she won't owe me, but Buddy was owing me, Blanche was owing me, Dave was owing me. Picked out and got me to make the fire and it's cold out there. That morning. And then mother said, daddy said, Lord, he hates so bad. One time he hated it. That fire was burning. So that fire was burning. But he was so quick to give you a beating. So he didn't go check it. He's come start flanking. I tipped out of bed. I just have a food room, 7 food them too. Yeah. But he didn't beat me that it didn't hurt. Only thing he did hurt my feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, Dad didn't never beat me. He if he promised you he'll beat me, he gonna beat you. But Dad is really beat me, but on account of the promises that he promised. I didn't find my book. He called himself beat me, but never really beat me. But one time, he beat me, but not really beat me. But one time, what that for though? Pausing to buy.
Oh, yeah,
Lord have mercy. Jordan didn't get me beaten that time. She always talking about I'm getting out on things, but boy, that Pete.
Dad just didn't beat me because he was tired. He went all the way down the line. He was tired.
Daddy had got a peach bush, and he went for the oldest and the bottom. Lord, that peach thing here tore my legs up.
Wow.
Oh Lord, that thing tore my legs up, and that's really he beat me. Of course, he'll beat me for that. But that's the only really beating Daddy ever beat me.
But the thing about it is, after you look back at it, that's one you deserve.
No, I didn't. I don't think I deserve that. I think I know a person. I don't mean to talk about people's mama. Actually, and Dave Lee, the head ring of that pausing thing.
Yeah, but
they boom, 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 boom.
They lead us to do my muscle. Take me through. And Daddy look at it.
That's the God too.
Yeah.
They were the cause of that pausing and didn't last.
Yeah.
But I still didn't call for him to beat us like that. Yeah. But that's why. But the next time, I bet you it'll run out.
Oh no!
Oh, Sister Blanche got sand, white sand, and put it in there.
What happened to Paul? The heart in left. Come back. But he said, "Oh, we have to last. We mix some sand.
White sand in it.
Same
Wow.
color."
Yeah.
So that everybody will know who we're talking about, can you, Aunt Dora, name all your sisters and brothers, alive and passed on?
Well,
What are their names?
Live and passed on. Benny Wright Smith is the oldest. David Lee Smith is the second. He's deceased. Blanche Lee McCarthy is third, and she passed on.
That's my mom, everybody.
And Glenora, as she say, S-A-K. And she's next oldest. Dora Mace Smith Edge is next one. And Austin Smith is the next one, which we call AB. And our brother Otis is the youngest.
Okay. I want to know if, or each of you, can share a fun memory or a fun story about each of them, about Uncle David Lee. I mean, you've already shared a memory as far as how he would take the rap if somebody did something wrong, get the beatings. But if you want to add something else, you can. But if you could just share a cherished memory or something funny about each of them, Uncle David Lee, Uncle A.B., and my mom, Blanche McCarthy. So who wants to go first?
I was sure about David. David, you know how David was. He was something else when he get a little nip going, you know. So me and Carrie his wife Carrie was very close. So I mean, we was all working together, and so I remember wanting up but just laughing and having a lot of fun. But Thunderbird worked with us, and he used to always like to carry, just naturally liking having fun talking. So David didn't work on that side that long, and so one day I remember Thunderbird had his arm around Carrie, just telling, always listening what he's had telling Carrie about it, because she go laugh, and we stepped there looking and laughing. So all of a sudden I hear a noise, take your arm from around so-and-so wife. Carrie come running to me. No, I didn't do nothing. I said, he looking right at you. She said, I hate to go home. And so I was up in the hallway. I think cold enough to come down there. Because I was laughing. I was just laughing, trying to put it off, just laughing, And I think I tried to camouflage because I knew who he was. He wasn't drinking either. And so we all laughed. Funabird said, if I could have went in the hole, I'd have went down the hole. But it was just plain fun. But he's so looking right at it, he had his arm wrapped all around, just talking. We all thought nothing. I heard that he said, take your hand from my soul is so white. And here's why, I didn't do nothing. I said, he looking right at you, kid. And I just started laughing about that. So he went on about his business. And so I asked her, she said, Glenor, I hate to go home. And so she said he didn't say no more about it. But I think what happened is I could have caused trouble. Sometimes people do cause trouble, and don't be nothing to it. You know what I mean? So I tried to laugh it like it was funny and what it was. It was funny what we saw. I don't know what we was talking about. But she said he never mentioned it.
Okay, so it was all harmless, but according to his view site,
But he
got a little jealous.
If he didn't know Funbird like we did, we was all, just all day having fun. He'd always be telling something crazy, like something kind of like, and not quite crazy though, big. But he was all be telling some jokes and laughing about something and carrying on. Okay. And another time with David, like I said, me and Carrie, we worked together for years, right side by side. And so when Funderburg retired, that same Funderburg retired, so Carrie was supposed to speak to his retirement. So I called up, I said, Carrie, you ready to go? No, Dick Lee won't let me go. I said, don't let you go. Dick Lee ain't your dad. Yeah, but I'm trying to keep the peace. I ain't going. I said, I'll tell you what you do. You take your bath. Don't put your clothes on. Take your bath, put your hot bedroom shoes on, take your bath and stuff, put your house coat on, and I'm going to come over there and get you. I'm going to come early so you have time to get ready. So I goes on over there, and Carol, you ain't ready to go? No, Diggly don't want me to go. I don't give a soul, so where you go? Go and never come. I'll go and don't never come back.
Oh, wow.
So I was always not getting in that business, but right is right and wrong is wrong. You don't need a big piece. But if I went there and said that, Carol, let's go, I don't care what he said, I'd have been in trouble and she'd have been in trouble. But as it is, I said, you that jealous? I said, they that jail. I don't give a so worship. Oh, don't come back. I don't care.
All right.
And so she said, yeah, I was going. Don't come back.
But, he must have been real mad.
No, he wasn't mad. He's just, men folks just hateful sometimes. They just hate the buddy.
Okay.
And so that won't call for her. She was going with me. I ain't gonna carry on guilt to no man.
All right.
If she get one, she get it by herself. So anyway, and, boy, I wish I had that speech she talked that night. I ain't never heard Carrie speak like that before. Carrie spoke to that thing.
Wow.
Yes, sir, she spoke. And Carrie got in the car. She said, Glenor, hurry and take off for a change his mind. No, take off for a change his mind. Wow. So that I always remember that. I don't know where you went with us or not, but I remember doing that.
Yeah,
but that thing was funny.
Well, I'm sure everybody enjoyed hearing about that. So, Andor, you want to share your fun memory or story on either Uncle A.B. or Mom or?
Peace word.
We've gotten a lot on Uncle David Lee.
The only thing I did about my brother A.B. One time. Me and my sister had a problem with a guy on the job, fussing with on the job, and A.B. was over the house and we were talking about it. So one day he came to the gate with his combat boots on. He ready for combat. Say, where he at? What you talking about, A.B.? Where he at? I'm ready to kick his foot.
Oh, wow.
He said, bother my sister, I'm going to show him how to bother. So I said, oh, A.B., that's over. Forget about it. And I know he want to find him. I wasn't pointing him out.
Wow. So A.B. had that kind of way to go jump up and defend whoever bothering you, huh?
Yeah, his combat. He said, I got my boots on. He don't know I've been in service. I'm ready for combat, he said.
Okay. How about you, Uncle Rogers?
Huh? That was talking about the peace word there with order.
No, but I mean,
Oh.
this is a good thing.
All right, we're gonna give Uncle Rogers a chance.
Just me and you, though.
Oh, she asked about AP.
Okay.
Oh,
All right, Uncle Rogers, how about you? Who you want to talk about?
One of the things come up in my mind is still David again. We was in the woods sawing some stove wood, sawing the log, and I said, man, I sure hate sawing with a fool. He said, you better not ever use a handsaw.
Oh wow!
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm talking about, you want Daily Reynolds?
Whoever you want to.
I'm talking about Blanche. You know, Blanche
Okay.
was a real good cook. Very, very good housekeeper. She was, good. So this time me and my husband and family went over to have dinner with her. I don't know what Thanksgiving or Christmas, when it was anyway. Boy, she had the table set. It was spreaded. Now this lady that we can burn cook all this food. Everything we taste was too salty. Oh, we were so disappointed because she could read it burn. She was disappointed. So my husband said, well, I'll take some potato salad, put it with it, make it better. Potato salad was too salty.
Heavy on the salt, huh?
Yeah, the first time we know she did that. But she was a very good cook.
Okay.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, she sure was.
Yeah.
Amen. Thanks for sharing that. I want to ask you now about your grandparents, Osmond Smith and Livy Smith, and I've been hearing a lot of interesting things about Grandpa Osmond. One of the things that even Paul Young said, and somebody else said he was stingy. He could be stingy. He could be stingy. But any of you want to share, any story or any special moment or anything you remember about Grandpa Osmond and well, you probably know Livy because she passed away right when Granddaddy.
All we know is Miss Bertha.
Miss Bertha.
That's all we know about.
Okay. Okay. With Miss Bertha, she was, I think they said Grandpa Osborne was married a few times. I think that's what they told me.
Very right.
Very right. Well, we didn't know about the first. They were married 6 months.
That was his last wife.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Huh?
Who last wife? Brother?
Miss Bertha.
Yeah.
Okay.
They said he married before Daddy's mother.
Yeah, because there was somebody else. I was counting up the age. I think he must have been about 28 years old when Rosa was born.
Oh, yeah?
And so I guess he had to have a wife for 28 years,
Wow. And I remember Aunt Rosie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her son Charles.
Yeah.
Yep. I got a picture. I remember. How about if one of you could share, what did Grandpa Osborne look like? What things he liked to do? Just tell us a little bit of something.
Smoke his pipe.
Oh, he smoked the pipe. Okay, everybody, we learning something. He smoked the pipe. Okay.
And he had a grapevine. He had a certain time for you to go to that grapevine. And
I think I heard about it.
I forgot what Sunday we would go to that grapevine, and nobody wouldn't go to that grapevine till Vonish and his kids came. And so I remember them grapes all be so good, just like you could eat them all at one time. But I'd be grabbing and getting them. But other than that, the people down south had rules. You didn't go in their stuff. They had a certain time for this and a certain time for that. But now, there ain't no certain time for kids to go in your refrigerator, they go this and they go that. So I found out old parents had some, what we thought had some crazy rules. They wasn't crazy, they were just ways of life that was normal. And that you just don't go in your house and go in people's refrigerators. If they had one, you didn't go in it, and you didn't lean on the table when people eating and all that stuff. And Grandpa, to me, his way was his way. And I thought that's the way old people supposed to be. Like he was, I guess.
All right.
For the way he looked, I think between Daddy and Uncle Seth, you got just about got the way he looked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did he ever talk about what was I had? Did he ever like any fun things that you all would do with him? Was he humorous? Was he always serious? Or, could it be both? Or what was his personality
I
like?
was on the young side when he died, but I know we always celebrate his birthday, and he blew out the cake on us, spit all over the cake, but we would eat it.
Oh, that is so cute. We're learning about our great grandpa, Val.
Yeah, I remember that. And they were gonna have a big cake for him, and all their counters, and we would blow it out. I remember that, and we would eat at his house certain time. I don't know when it was. Hall killing, we would have a feast. I was little, but I remember that. I remember.
Okay.
I don't even remember that.
You remember that feast? Hall feast? When Hall? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I give one of his kids a Hall feast and down.
A hog feast.
I
Yeah.
think I remember about blowing the count. Very remember that. But I was 11 years old. I don't know a lot about him. But I know one time he told me to go get him a jar of water. And I told him to tell how to go get it. And I thought, after I said it, I thought I was going to get a beating, but I didn't.
Okay.
Did you tell him?
I know one time when I was going with a real dark skinned girl, he goes for yellow people. He don't go for no kind of dark.
Oh.
And he said no black girl. I said, well, if I have the children, it'll be they call you granddaddy. He said, I won't answer. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is funny. Now we're gonna shift over to mother's family. Grandpa Rufus Bossy and Grandma Zeddy Arzola Smith, also known as Grandma Missy. So, which one of you want to tell us a little bit about Grandpa Bossy? What was his? All right. What was his nickname? What did he look like?
RB.
Okay.
I sure was, yeah. Like I should remember that. Yeah.
And the thing about it is, if you got the nearest one look like him in the family, I think would be Uncle Roland. I think. And matter of fact, when he passed away, I was only, I was going to be 11. I was going to be 11.
Okay.
And think about at the time he passed away, and during the time he passed away, I thought he was representing religion. I thought he was the most Christian person I knew at the time.
Wow.
That was my feeling. So that's all.
So you're saying he was a religious man? He went to church every Sunday?
Yeah, that was my thought. That he was a pure Christian.
Oh.
That's all I thought.
Okay. All right.
Well,
We had a lot of church members, but I thought he was a Christian.
That makes it different.
Yeah, that is a big difference. And what about, you want to add anything else on about that, Uncle Rod?
That's what
I had
Okay.
something. My mother said that she believes had so much faith in her father that he said, I guarantee you'll get the mule in this time or something of it. She thought her dad had cussed. So it hurt her so bad because he was so good a Christian. She thought he had cussed. I guarantee.
Okay. Now let's talk about Grandma Missy. I've heard so many great things about Grandma Missy and her sense of humor and what does she look like? What does she like to do? Who wants to take that on?
well, to me,
Uncle Rogers?
I got one story about Grandma Missy and my mother. I said, mother said she was eating at the table and she dropped her meat on the floor and the cat got it. And she said, Mom, the cat got my meat. Cat got my meat. Here's another piece of meat. She said, get after the cat. She said, kitty. She called the cat to get after me.
Oh, wow.
Mama said so.
Huh?
Mama told her.
All right. And what were you going to say, Aunt Glenora?
Let's see, what was I gonna say?
About Grandma Missy and...
Oh, I know too when mother was dating. You talking about mother or grandma?
Either one. Either one.
Well, anyway, when mother was dating her, or whatever, you know, I guess to tell about the birds and the bees and stuff. So I guess her daddy had told, you know, about one of the boys. She said she went to her dad and said, Daddy, Papa, what she called her. Sister wanted to ask me on for a question. Lord, I thought that was so funny. Lord, asked me on for a question. Mother always laughed by herself. But I guess it'd be good if we tell me just want to ask her something for a question. But mother was kind of, the way she sounds kind of like me. They always say I was crazy, so I guess I grew up to have a little bit of sense, I guess.
Okay.
Grandma Missy liked to go fishing.
Uh-huh.
She loved fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And she used to go pick cotton. You know, that was after farm over, she'd go make a little extra. That was extra money. I see her go into town to pick cotton, and she would. What else she do? That's all, pick cotton.
I heard that she was very lovable with the children. I was told she would always, I think it might have been Aunt Retha told me this story, and said that she would have peanuts and she'll pull kids over here, get some. Get some. All right, Aunt Glenora, I'll cut it off.
I got a juicy one.
Okay.
You know, Jesse's light skin.
Mm-hmm.
And Murray's friend Lucille had a son. He was real dark skinned like my son Junior.
Mm-hmm.
So they got into a fight. Everybody always respect the older people. So Lucille and Aunt Murray were good friends. So they kids got to fighting out there somewhere, you know. So Grandma went out there and said to her, Lucille's son, "Boy, carry your black so home to your mama or something." And told Jessica, "You carry your yellow behind home." Something of that sort. And so, quite natural, you won't want nobody to do your child like that. To come tell them carry your black so and so, and then tell them carry your yellow behind home. So, Lucille, Lucille told Grandma off by it, you know, off a little bit. And Grandma didn't like it, so Grandma went and told Aunt Murray about how Lucille had told off and stuff. So Aunt Murray went to get Lucille. Lucille said, "Murray, honey, Lord have mercy, I had to have something." She come call my son that black. So I looked at my son, he was that black. Said, "Carry your black behind home," and went out and told Jesse, "You carry your yellow behind home." Aunt Murray said, she said, "Ha ha ha!" Murray just laughed, and that was all up. Well, Grandma probably didn't tell like she told it. But what you calling your kids no black behind something and tell your yellow behind to go on.
Oh my goodness.
Lord, that was so funny. I can't tell like Aunt Murray told it, but Lord, that thing was funny.
Now, did your grandparents ever share any stories about slavery? Did they ever talk about their parents? Do you ever remember them mentioning anything about their parents?
No, they didn't mention that.
They didn't?
I mean, they knew about it, you know,
But
slavery.
they wasn't talk to us about it. We didn't talk.
But Daddy always shielded us from, because Daddy always, since I've been knowing, always had his own farm and stuff. And we didn't have to sharecrop unless we wanted to, you know. And like I say, Daddy, even when we came to Connecticut, I don't wonder why Daddy stopping in the woods and things for us to go to the bathroom, say, "Y'all got to go to the bathroom now." He know where to stop, so we go out there and go to the bathroom. And after we got past Washington, I think it was, we could go anywhere, and he made sure we weren't exposed to it. Even when we went to wherever down south, I didn't know. I mean, I know we didn't go to school with a black person. We just know where we stood in our place where we were, because we didn't have to associate with them no more. You know, go to their store and buy something.
Okay.
And Buddy probably seen it. He said he had seen it, but she wasn't praising nothing. But when I went to the store, down there when I was living down south, and I went back down south. I went right around the county and got stuff. And I said, "What you do? What you see? What you doing?"
I don't remember that.
It must have been an orgy. And I went to the Esselin store and get stuff off on the counter, sodas to drink, and I drank about 3 of them Coke sodas, as hot as it was,
Wow.
and bought pecans and all that. But Daddy shunned us from going to the store. And why? I didn't know why he didn't want to buy a good old hot dog through the window. I didn't know why. But Mother would get them good old hot dogs. When
Wow.
he get around the corner, we'd get some of the hot dogs and eat them. But he was shielding us from being ignorant. If the white person gonna let us sit down like the other person, just leave it alone.
He wouldn't let us go to the window and get it. We had to go inside to get it, or not at all.
But see, I didn't know. I was too
We didn't know
young.
that we were
I-
just black folk doing it, so we wanted us a hot dog.
We stayed in our corner where we was. Because we didn't have to eat from the white, go around people's back door to eat. We didn't have to work with them. They knew it too. And when we went work for them, Grandma out come this for us. And Grandma said, "Ooh, Vonish, you know they ain't gonna do that." But he did it. He dished our land for us to work with him. But otherwise, white people didn't work for you, but they want you to work for them.
You know, this is just such perfect timing because that was my next question. How was life with you all between black and white people in North Carolina when you were growing up? Did you experience the segregation where you, did you see signs that said for colored only
Yeah.
and white only?
I've seen that. And why it was like that.
In
There was a
Whiteville?
sign in the
Yeah.
store, black, well, when you go to the window, you want to be served, black, they go to the window. White people go inside.
Wow.
Daddy didn't allow us to go to the window to score.
But he
But
never.
we did when he went back.
We really was
How about the water speaking? Did
black and a white.
Yeah, like the water, like public water. There's a place for black and a place for white.
So you all actually remember those signs? Wow.
We wasn't exposed to that. Didn't carry us around it. If he happened to carry us a white, he won't let that rest every minute. But we knew. We saw the sign. We know we were black.
I get confused. Which one is it? Desegregated or segregated? Segregated mean apart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they want segregated. So I moved from New York down south to here. I came here to a mixed race. It was very bothering me because I wasn't used to it. When I went to Hill House, I went to most white than black school. The first couple of years I went there. But now it's more black. But when I went to Hill House, it was mixed. I came from a segregated town to desegregated and was very different, but I learned to deal with it. One of my best friends was a white girl. She's her name was Bertha.
Okay.
We couldn't find out. I know why she liked the black folks then, because she took somebody to black husband. Louise,
Oh my goodness.
he's white I better not say it on the film though. I might see it on the film. He's wait a minute. Oh, that boy, go to his mother's car with his mother. The preacher, young preacher, black.
Well, while you all discussing that, we have just a few more questions, and we're about ready to wrap it up in a little bit. While we're talking about black and white races in North Carolina, can any of you share perhaps the scariest story you ever heard that happened to a black person down south?
She home.
Yeah, I heard he got lynched and hung on a tree.
Oh, really? Who got lynched on Glenora?
I heard it being lynched, and I think that man from down there,
Oh,
they brought him to a funeral. What is
we on film.
we are who that man came down there, buddy, to a film was kin to Mel Smith, them cousin or brother or somebody that was chain feet to chain because they looked at a white woman, did something to a white woman.
Betty brother. Betty brother.
Betty brother.
Nathan.
No.
Not that one, the dark one.
Buddy, no.
Betty brother.
Yeah, Betty Lucille brother.
No.
That was him.
Hang. Wait, now.
His name was
Who brother?
Betty. Now Lucille brother. His Betty too.
RT and Boo.
RT.
I remember RT coming
Oh,
out of
that
chain.
RT.
I don't know. One time he was, we were down in South Carolina, and he was in some kind of trouble, and Lucia couldn't see him. She cried and cried, couldn't see him, but I know he got out of it pretty soon.
I
He was in service, right?
say he come to. I say he come to a funeral.
Oh, I don't know.
Change
I don't know. Ham?
Was it Ham?
Ham Hill.
Yeah, that's who it was it?
I don't remember that.
I do. I know he came to the funeral. Is some kind of Carmel in there, some kind of way.
That's
Wow.
Bartella's boy, I think.
Isn't that Carmel's son? His brother?
Mel's sister, Bartella, I think.
Her son or something, yeah.
Yeah.
I say some kind of Carmel.
Bartella is Miller Brooks'
Half sister, whole sister, whatever.
sister.
Yeah.
That's still, who child that is? Uncle Willis?
Uncle Willie's child, some probably on there.
Okay.
It's Carmel's nephew, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
And he was chained with his feet to a funeral. Cause something about he looked at a white woman or something.
Oh, you go to prison to get home for looking at a white woman. Man tried to talk to a white woman.
Wow.
You have a white baby, they would take the baby away from you, and you couldn't have your baby. They would let a white man, people have you have black. They would give it to somebody else.
Wow.
I've been told you a story about Uncle Roland before.
Okay.
What about?
Have any of you ever been called the N-word?
Yeah.
Yes.
You have.
And you would have too. You've been outside. Yeah.
How did you handle that? How did you?
handle it? You left it alone.
Okay.
You left it alone.
We used to walk to the church, and they'd say, well, there come one big black bird, one little bird, and one me-sized black bird.
Oh my
I don't
goodness.
remember that now.
You know, you,
Wow.
I don't remember. No, I don't
you know, you
remember.
remember that who was listening?
What if people leave real close
Joe
by the
Falk.
white
Give
people?
him fault.
Joe
Give him,
Falk.
huh?
Mary Falk,
Roy Fulton there.
I don't know, close by the white people church down there in Lake.
That was Rowan.
Kenzie Long. Magdalene Long.
No, close by the church.
I can't think of people that there. Where he
Henry Falk and Mary Falk, I think it was.
Very fault? I don't remember the people.
But anyway, I had been up here and got so halfway used to black folks and white folks mixing together. And I was walking down by that church going to somewhere over there, and I hear one of them children say, I see a nigger. I said, oh my God. I thought I was through with that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
They
Wow.
used to be going, they come one big side bird, one black bird. My mother ain't been along. My mother talked about her too. And black bird, one little bird. So after that not my boy named Fox boy, we started working for him.
Yeah.
He said, Della, I know why you all don't want to work for me. He said, because I was ignorant when I was a child. My daddy sat on the porch would make me stop and correct me. Say, I shouldn't be calling y'all name that. Say, I'm beg your pardon, I'm sorry. I shouldn't call it. I know why y'all won't work with me. Because I would call y'all a little black bird and a new bird. He said, don't get mad at me about it. Be mad at my daddy because he shouldn't allow me to do
Yeah,
that.
Roy.
I think Roy, yeah. And Guy, Roy and Guy, right? Yeah. Roy told us that. He said, don't get mad at me, Della.
I thought
Lean
Guy
my father.
was a pretty
Yeah, he
decent
was.
guy.
Yeah, he was. He
But
was.
Roy, he just like his daddy.
Roy was nice. I mean, he got
Roy
grown.
wouldn't say that because it's like you say, if you allow your children to give a report and say things to people,
Yeah.
they shouldn't be mad at them kids. They doing what you allow them to do.
You doing what you heard you say, and they just bring it out.
And
You
you
say,
sit there and
Della,
laugh about
Della,
it.
you shouldn't be mad at me. You married wrong way. You should be mad at my daddy. My dad shouldn't allow. He said, nah, I feel so bad because I was a child. I act like it. I said, nah, I know better. He said, I know y'all didn't work for me. He said, come work for me. Y'all, you'll be surprised. Treat you better than anybody else. And they did.
And we went well, they about us, treat us and But I don't remember them. I know I was down like it, but something I don't remember.
Okay.
The worst prejudice I remember, I knew we was in the room in segregation. I knew that. They were rode the bus and we didn't. But in fact, first time I remember segregation was when we went to Florida. So we was watching the parade, and so we wanted to find a seat, and so some people jumped up. As soon as they jumped up, we had sat down where they were sitting at. Them white people jumped up from sitting down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Y'all, most of y'all girls over taking more seats for.
Yeah, but we was waiting for the parade was coming, you know, and so we waiting for a seat. I think maybe Val was 27 months old, and so we was glad to sit down, you know. So we rushed over there and sat down, and holding a baby too, and the people that jumped up, we jumped down, and white people jumped up from the downside. Now, I ain't never seen that before in my life.
Now, do any of you know anything about Granddaddy's grandfather, Grandpa Jerry Smith?
No.
Just the name.
Just the name.
No.
What I learned about him through Aunt Retha said that he was sold into slavery a couple of times since he was a little boy. And one of the slave names was the Creases. And then he was wanted very bad because of his size. And they said someone named Cannell, I'm still trying to get the correction on how that first name is pronounced, but someone named Cannell or Colonel Smith paid $1,500 for him. And when they got him, he changed his name again because it was Jerry Creasy. Then it was changed again to Jerry Smith. And when they purchased him, they used him as a breeder.
Yeah.
And so we got cousins probably to this day who are Creasy's, and of course Smith. Go ahead, Uncle Roger.
Somebody else, I heard that story ever since I went to the family union, but I don't know how they got all that information.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have
Well,
Yeah,
I
got
seen it on TV.
Daddy have told us himself, but he was a we was a creasing and was this, so he got it from his father. His father passed on, but Daddy had told us.
You told you that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know about he was a breeder.
His father probably told him that too.
And plus, I seen on TV.
I never heard him say that now.
What's that man? That black man in New Jersey was become a mayor, and he had a lot of white ancestry. I was at one night, sit up in here, how he pulled it up and showed how his. And it was on TV, white.
Come on.
I can't think of that. It's a true story. It happened in New Jersey. And they pulled up way back people where there was a doctor, when the mama used to carry the son there to that certain place as a doctor. And they thought that was, I guess they thought that, but he couldn't own that son, I guess. No, quite necessarily own it. So that same man what come, I wish I could tell it like it is.
I don't know what to tell you.
Is anyway, he traced back to the tree, and that boy what was going to that doctor, that old man was his father. And they got something they can pull it up off of, and they seen him pulling it up in the courthouse. Who they were born to, where they were working at, and all that
They
stuff.
can trace.
Yeah, they can do it on I don't know how they do it.
Brian traced back a lot of stuff out of our ancestors.
Yeah, I saw this guy. He's a singing guy. I saw a story of him where he went back from way back and got his great grandfather and stuff from the Hall Records or something. And what that guy name?
You talking about African American?
African American guy.
Yeah, he was. I think his name was Bill.
Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie.
Okay.
Richie, yeah. He went way back and got.
I don't know how to go on a computer, so can you research?
I seen a man do it the other night, took my attention so bad and showed some pictures of him. All kinds of stuff. And the man that he was going to the doctor with, I guess you couldn't tell that was his father. He carried him there and it traced back to him that was his father. Way now, I guess the man is 70 years old. I don't know.
Well, that's how I got my information, because you can get like census, especially you can go as far as back as 1910 to 1800s. They kept a record of all the people in your household where you live, and then sometimes those records can pull out birth certificate. Like I have Grandpa Jerry Smith, which is a lot of information Brian has already researched for the family. I have his death certificate, and I have Grandma Missy's death certificate. I got all that on the computer. and and I was able to see what age mother was while I was sharing in the kitchen because of the senses that they have. So that's how I learned who all her sisters and brothers were. Because and I try not to get them mixed up because I have them separated in my files. But who had a brother named Onslow. Let me see, who was it? That was on Dad Granddaddy said Onslow, and somebody named who was Milan. Which side was that?
Molian.
Molian.
That's mother's side.
On mother's side. See, these are people I never
My
met.
sister that died, we don't know about.
Molian.
And Mabel. I mean,
Molian.
Thelma.
Yeah.
Now,
I think Thelma died when she was 29, I think mother said.
because I remember a family member.
Forward man.
A family member, I can't remember how old they were, but shared that Grandma Missy was so grieved by the death of some child she had that passed, and they said they could remember hearing her. Roland. They said they could remember her going way out in the woods and just standing out there hollering because she, she's a mother, she was so grieved by it. But this was a story somebody was telling me down south. And they would just hear her holler and holler,
Maybe one must have known about it.
Okay, yep. All right, well, we're moving on.
Well, just like now, like you're talking about, the white people and stuff and know your name. Just like now, if you see times, like, anybody know that Evelyn Smith, daughter murdered a white man?
Evelyn Smith, who's that?
Elsa Lane Bunch's sister.
She did go
Her daughter.
It's on Facebook.
Oh, yes.
And did anybody know that Andrew Young, that be with Edward Kennedy up there now, about that all that mess? That Andrew Young is Mabel's daughter, brother-in-law.
I learned that. I think
Maybe a daughter.
I mean, Evelyn.
Evelyn's daughter murdered a white man, and you know that Andrew Young senator what be up there on TV what that guy say was covering up that affair and saying that was his baby. That's Evelyn's daughter's brother-in-law. Not Evelyn's brother, but her daughter's brother-in-law.
Oh yeah.
Evelyn's daughter. Evelyn's daughter's brother-in-law. Andrew Young is Evelyn's daughter.
So it's Evelyn married that man's brother. Evelyn's daughter. The man's brother.
Okay.
But then like years come, we gonna say what kind of mess is this? If who let us see, probably, or they might be so used to it.
I didn't know she married a white man.
It might be so used to it, to think about it. But to be married somebody back in our day, like Mother's Day, it just didn't. If it happened, you couldn't put it out there.
Well, Justin had a white wife, but he was out there in England. He married her and moved to New York. He couldn't go south with her.
Okay, because they had laws against intermarrying with another race back then.
They had a law against black men with a white woman, but a lot of white guys that deal with black women.
Any kind of way they want.
Yeah. But black man, he was just an outcast.
Yes, that's sad.
Yeah.
And that's why I hate so bad, and I can't tell my do. I'm so glad that my boys didn't marry a white woman, because segregation, for real. Now I could love a white woman, but I know they so deceitful. They'll do anything. If somebody give them $10,000, probably have they just like that. And they so deceitful that they love you one minute, then they turn around and love somebody else. I see it on the job all the time. Not saying we not like that, but
that goes for black and white.
Not like that, though.
I have to agree with
like
Uncle Rogers.
No.
I have to agree with Uncle Rogers. I mean, you know what? I think that Aunt Glenora, she has a legitimate point because of her experience. You can't take away from a person's experience. When you look at this day and time, I guess because of all the civil rights movements and because of people standing up for the rights of black people, people are now more free to befriend or marry who they want, which we needed that change. But overall, you still have white people who are racist. but that doesn't mean that's every white person, you know, and that's the way I see it.
You know, like a lot of people say, a black person steal, but who can steal more than the white folks?
They think they justify what they do. That's why they begin to get caught now so much. Oh, they stealing this and stealing that.
Well, we're gonna
out setting on fire and all that crap.
Well, one thing about our family, they're very forthcoming, whether they think it, what they feel.
Oh yeah.
Now we're going to bring things up to date. Let's kind of use our imagination right now. You're in North Carolina, and now the day has arrived in regards to Connecticut. How did it come up, or how did it come about moving to Connecticut? Who decided that? Was it a family discussion? How did Connecticut come up?
Jerry Smith moved here. Then a couple more came. After a while, more came. But after a while, I'd say within 5 years, all of Connecticut was in Connecticut.
Wow.
Yeah.
He told everybody about that tree that has more money on it. Everybody else trying to find that tree.
So what would you say the reason that caused everybody just start going in droves to move to Connecticut? What was it that said, oh, let's pack up and go?
Money was made more money here than there.
Well, Dad put his excuse that he couldn't work in the field no more. It was too hot, and couldn't handle the field. That's what
he said. He made more in 1 week. He did a whole month down south. So everybody moved in.
During the time when Daddy came here, I think tobacco season was over, and he was looking for work to send your mother to school. He said you couldn't get a job digging a ditch. So he needed money, so he came here to send the black to school mostly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's all right.
He said for 1 week, for taking what he making a week, would take him a month down south to make it.
Wow.
If you could get it.
If you get yeah.
Okay.
He said he tried it for one summer, not summer, one winter, and he had planned to come back home. He said, well, he moved farm that year. He'll try it again. So after a couple of years, he said he ain't farming no more.
Wow.
And with me, my experience, I didn't want to come up here. And after I came up here, I didn't like it. And my thing was when I got on my own or whatever, I wasn't going to stay in Connecticut. I wasn't going to live here. But then I finally got trapped up here, getting married and all that good stuff. Okay. And I got a job to Winchester. Oh, you couldn't tell me nothing. Back in that day, I don't think too many people was making $2 an hour.
Can you tell us about Winchester? Because Aunt Glenor always taps into the perfect timing of the next questions, but so you can finish that. Can you kind of start to begin? Tell everybody what Winchester's all about. What is Olin? Well,
like I said, I came up here and everybody that I knew, everybody was getting. Daddy got a job to Winchester. Calvin was up here for Daddy. He got a job to Winchester. Then Daddy got one to Winchester, and everybody was so happy to make at least, I guess, $1 an hour, because down south you work all day for $3 at one time, and so anyway, when I come up here, like I say, I didn't like up here, but I got married and all that good stuff, and I got sort of hooked here, and I got a job at Winchester, and my first day at Winchester, I was late. Because I never had a public job before. I didn't know what a public job was. I never got a check, didn't know what a check was. So when I went to work, I guess I didn't go early enough to park. But I don't think I never got docked for that time because they talked to me before they rang you in. So I was late. Time I found a park, it was about 18 minutes after 7. By the time I got a park. But like I said, I've never been late going to Winchester unless I've been late 2 times, and of course I had to go around. I had a flat tire, had to go around, and other times I wasn't late. I think I was late 2 times going to work. But make the story short, like I said, I got hired on a Tuesday, and I was 18 minutes late. But I thought about it after a while. Nobody say nothing about me being late that first day.
What apartment you work in?
23 shop.
What were they making in that apartment? What part was they making it?
Making wood parts of wood. And so so I would work, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know I was on incentive, but I know I was trying to work hard to get me a job. So it was piecework. And so I had to work 2 weeks before you get paid. And so when I got paid, I made, I forgot already. I think it was $89, something like that, for 4 days, not for 5, 4 days.
Wow.
And down south, you did good if you made $15 for 5 days.
Wow.
And so I learned, somebody said, have you made insanity? When I saw that $89, oh no, it was $94. $94 I made in 4 days. And somebody said, you made insanity yet? I didn't know what they was talking about. To make the story short, I started out with $2.42 an hour plus piecework. And I worked so fast and so hard until the people that was in there already couldn't do the work. And here I am weighing 120 pounds wet. And they couldn't put out much money as me. So anyway, my daddy working in that apartment. Well, when I went in that apartment, he wasn't in there. He was out sick or something. So they try to cut me down because I was going too fast for them. I was rubbing that wood, call it feeling rub. I was rubbing that wood, working hard. And they would come over there sometimes, call themselves helping me, and try to see how many pieces I put in I learned. All I know what I was doing was working hard, trying to make some money. So one day, Sophie for one, and also was jealous of me working. So one day I got called in office, like, oh gosh, people gonna fire me or what they gonna do? I never forget it. Mo Lombardo told me if you do 1,000 minutes, say turn it in. Say I know your father. Say if you do 1,000 minutes, turn it in. And I was so happy. I was so nervous when I went in there, and I like coming out. I wanted to shout and say, "Thank you, Jesus. He ain't gonna fire me." So then after that went on, I was working. Used to get things on to work on his job. I was going so fast they did anything to cut me down. So I remember Will McNeil was a hard worker, and he didn't know. He complained about me not doing buffing. So he complained when the work got low. Say she can do some of this hard work too. He didn't want to do 70s, and I didn't want to do them because I didn't know what it was. So they taught me how to buff. Okay. And that's what they put me in the ring and some money.
All right.
And equivalent to the time I quit work, I made the most money in 1966 and in the 60s and early part of 70s I have in my life. Equivalent to now.
All right, Aunt Glenora. And Uncle Rogers, do you think you can remember the names of any of your bosses and supervisors when you worked at Olin?
Oh yeah, I think I can. Nate, one of my bosses, and Jimmy was one of them, and Roy Carmichael, and Mo Lombardi. Whatever.
You didn't like Vogler, Walter Vogler.
Vogler, yeah.
Yeah, that was my ace.
And I have a few more. That's about my remember right now.
You
Okay.
remember Bob?
How about you, Aunt Dora?
Snowshoes?
Had a lot of Bobs supervisor.
Yeah.
Bob, Kazasi, I can pronounce his last name. Had about 3 or 4 Bobs. Walk, Ross,
Lou
Ross. Don't forget Christine, Kashina, and Tom Wallace. I had a lot of supervisors. Paul. And don't forget the Dick. Oh God, Dick.
How about the other guy?
Mike. And
Would you say they were fair bosses?
no.
No?
Only fair boss we had was
Walter Vogler.
Vogler. He was a fair boss. The Bob Zukowski, the boss that we couldn't stand, he was more fair than any of them. We couldn't stand him because he broke in there bad. But he found he wasn't bad and he acted.
Well, you know, actually, whether you guys know it or not, you really made history because the stories that I heard is that Olin, the Olin company was so eager to hire people from their kind of because you all started a reputation that the people in the South work harder than the people up north. What are your thoughts on that? Is that true? Was that true?
I hear that Mr. Rice was, I guess he was the head of the company when for a long time. When my daddy started and when I started, Mr. Rice was the head of it. And I don't know whether it's true or not. They said for them not to hire no Spanish people and none of them other people. What's called them other people? Not to hire them.
West Indies?
No. Them people that moved down south, what's the name?
Mexican?
Yeah, don't hire none of them people like that. And
said?
that's what I hear. Mr. Rice, they don't hire none of them people. And for a while there wasn't none of them people in there either. If you think about it, won't none of them people in
Well,
there.
most times, like
And if they try that today, that would be
I didn't
discrimination.
hire you by like if your family was a good worker, like they know daddy was our daddy, they hired us on that merit because he was a good worker. And like Joe Smith was a good worker when he round and like stuff. They hire you like according to your the family tree.
Well, this is how I got hired though. I wanted me a job and I needed a job. And Joe would always be, come on Tuesday, come on that one. And the next thing I knew, he would tell us when to go. And this day, he didn't tell us when to go. So me and Mutt was looking for a job. I guess Dora was too. And the next thing we know, he called me up. You go down there today? I didn't. Louise and Lois got hired. And so after that, I didn't depend on no Joe. I went out and me and Mutt went out and Mutt. I said, I'm going to get me a job. So me and Mutt went out there. So he called Mutt first. Mutt, they told Mutt that the job was staying on your feet all day long, and you would be staying on your feet all day long. Might not like that. That's what I told Mutt. So when they called Mutt coming in, told him say no, the job was too hard to get something else for him. I told Mutt, I said I'm going to get that job. And so the man went in and asked me, told me the same thing, and said his job will be hard and he have to buff and have to do that. I don't know who I told him. She is the God truth. This is a true story. I told him, man, I said, I've been doing that all my life. He said, where? I said, washing them pots and pans. Boy, he laughed. This is a true story. I said, I wash pots and pans. Boy, he laughed. And he laughed. And he gave me a job, too.
Okay.
Sure did. Mutt got that same job after I got my job.
Wow.
Then a certain person wanted to come on a job, too. My sister Dora, she had a job, and so I invited her to come get that job. So come on a job, and I was working, making that money. I said, Dora, I said, just do these 25 here, this easy rest of the month. Oh, I ain't done that. So after why she said, I ain't done that. And after why she saw me doing it, she filed some pursuit. When she got that paycheck, ain't had no more trouble.
She ain't had no more trouble.
Ain't had no more trouble. Her, when she seen that check looking all right, she can tell the rest of it.
I was going to disqualify myself because I couldn't sleep at night. My body was so sore and aching. All night long, I wore my hurt and sore. And I never made $100 a week in my life. I made $15 or $50 a week. I got a check for $100. I looked at the check and said, no, I ain't sore a bit. The story is vanished. And honey, I started making that money.
I ain't never been so for
I
that
was so
job.
sore. Ooh.
I ain't never been so for that
When that
job.
man come and gave me a check, I was going to disqualify myself. But when I looked at the check, the sword is vanished. I ain't been sore no more.
Well, we are down to the last, actually 3 questions.
Yeah.
Everything is so good. But I do want to bring out one more thing in regards to Olin. Maybe if one of you, if you remember, as blessed as everyone was getting those jobs, wasn't there one point where everybody had to go on strike Can somebody share what that was about, and if you remember how long that lasts?
Contract time. Change our contract. In 79, that was the worst contract we had. In 79. And we were getting $40 a week. That means they want to cut all benefit, want to cut back from and take from you. So we had to fight. Contract means fighting for the job. So I think that time we was out for a while, but we won that contract. We got good benefit and stuff. Then the next couple of years later, contract, they started taking things back from us, give us stuff and take. And so going downhill.
Yeah, one time Winchester was the highest paying place, but then that's why Pratt went and we had went on like we started on. We would have been making real good money.
Okay.
What happened when we was on piecework? We didn't raise the wages. We just kept the rate the same, but the piecework we was getting piecework. So they cut the piecework out and gave us a what they call it now, flat rate.
Yeah.
Flat rate. Me and Glenora was the most high paid lady. There was one man over me and Glenora. Glenora over me, and I was next. We was the high paid there. So when they went back down to the regular thing, they cut me $5 an hour. That's how much I was. Cut me $5 an hour back down to the regular rate. Imagine, but $5 an hour. Willie McNeil lost $8. Glenora lost about $6 something an hour. I lost 5 something hours when they cut us back down to the. And we won't bring our rate up with us, so we just that piecework we were going crazy. But we didn't thought about that day coming. And Daddy had already told us about that. They'll give you something, honey, and they'll take it back. You told us, and we didn't pay my last thing. Daddy told us about how job work and things, how they'll take people to give you things, take away from them. He came just like he said.
He said you go to a job and he'll be changed down. I went up for a job twice. That somebody said, let's up there. I said, maybe I go. When that same place, it was changed down. When I went the first time, it was changed the second time.
They had changed Winchester down one time. I went there and put it go to work.
Okay.
But you know what? Time just repeats itself.
Yeah.
Just repeats itself. Cause like when I first went to Yale, a little over 12 years, 11 years ago, I used to go in there in the morning and go in there and sign my name at 7 o'clock. Didn't have to go at 7:30, and but sign in, turn right around, come back home, and then go back to work till 9:30. And that's the truth. Who that told me that? See, they gonna cut that out. And I'm surprised they let that be like that anyway. Cause I know. I go in there and sign in, my name down, and back, and have come home a lot of days, and then Bertha say, "Oh, you got a good job." I come and fix breakfast for Bertha, Alphonse's sister, fix breakfast for Bertha, and go back on the job. And then 11 o'clock, I come back home, stay to 1:30. So I have had it hard and have had it good, I ain't never and had no lot of good high paying things, but I've been blessed because I live at close to my job, and I didn't have to quit then, but I just thought about I'm getting old, 7 years old, and it's time to quit, time to enjoy some of my health and strength while I got my health and strength.
All right. Well, we're gonna pause it right there, and just glad to hear all these good things that people need to know about our history. I'm gonna ask you, Uncle Rogers, how would you say New Haven is different today compared to the old days? What's different about it today? The New Haven you see now compared to the New Haven when you first came here and started living. How is it different?
Well, one thing I could think of right at the top of my head would be when I came here, a job was plentiful, but now they're very scarce. Yes,
And price of food too.
I said when I came here, the streets weren't as bad here now. You used to walk down the street, go and work any time of night you want to tonight, but about try it now, can't hardly sell your own porch.
Okay. All right.
I one thing I know when I came here, especially when I got married, I don't know. I know I used to thought Mother just being stingy, she'd buy them chicken backs. And mother go to the store and get her 3 pounds of chicken backs. Boy, what else would she buy? I don't know. I know she get them chicken backs. And I thought she was getting them because I was tell she would get her chicken back because she was stingy. But I love chicken backs, but it's really, the price of food is raging since when I first come here. Because I used to take $10 and buy a whole cart of food, which it sounds like a tale.
Wow.
But if you spent $21 for Christmas time, you had it carried, piled up, falling off. But you take $21 now, you ain't got nothing.
Wow.
Bread.
Since she mentioned about $21, I remember I first got married. That was my first meal, first grocery, $28. I had to buy everything. Bought flour, meats, 5 meats for the week.
Wow.
I bought everything, peanut butter, jelly, everything I needed, and bread. $28 was our grocery bill,
Right.
and that was a lot of food.
Wow, that's a blessing. Speaking of marriage, before we close out, we want to know if you would acknowledge who your spouse was and please name all your children. Aunt Glenor already started in the beginning. So, Aunt Dora, how about we go with you?
My late husband, James Kelly, is the first, and I have 2 kids. James Kelly is the second, and Kelly Della, Edge, and that's my family.
All right. Uncle Rogers?
Oh, my wife was Glad William Smith.
Okay.
Yeah, she had her 4 children.
Uncle Rogers is too funny.
Teresa, Marietta, Ralph, and Kenny.
Okay. Alrighty. And Aunt Glenora, you want to refresh our memory?
I just want to say I had kind of like a classmate relationship with my first husband, which was Alphonse Green. He was a nice man. We got married shortly after that. Something happened to his mind. Well, he was a good person, very good person. I will say the Grahams are very good people, but after something happened to his mind, he got sicker and sicker, so we no longer make it. Then I met up with another guy by the name of Mr. Martin King, and he tried to tell me some good things, and he was a good man for a while, but sometimes things went wrong, whatever. So with Mr. Graham, we had 3 kids, and Mr. King, I had two kids. So altogether, I had 5 kids.
Okay.
So I already gave you the names: Alphonse Graham Jr., Burnell Graham, Audrey Graham, Valerie Danita King, and Glenn Martin King.
Okay. Now, since we are in a new time, and a new day, I would for you each to answer this question. Did you ever think that we would have a black president? And the second part to that question is, what do you think of Barack Obama? Starting with Uncle Rogers.
Well, I think he was blessed, and he's doing the best he can with everybody pulling against him. But he's doing his best.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Did you ever think we would have a black president, Uncle Rogers?
I never think that would be possible.
Because I asked Cousin Paul Young that question, and his response was, he said he never ever thought he'd see that in his lifetime. Yeah. And I thought that was very, very interesting. Aunt Dora?
It's a funny thing, Daddy always said that we have a black president.
Did he really?
Yeah, but I didn't think it'd be in my lifetime, but thank God we seen it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Daddy always said we gonna have a black president. Yeah. And we got one. And as my brother say, he done the best he can for what he got.
Okay.
And everybody pulling against him. And I'm very glad. I was scared that he would get assassinated. But thank God, I think prayer on his side and people praying for him. I think the bullet has been missed.
All right, Aunt Dora. I like that. Aunt Glenora, if you want to add on to that, I don't know if I asked you that in the last interview, but
No, I don't think you did. Maybe you did, but anyway, I never really thought hard about it, but I don't think I thought we would have one because it's sometimes we think something because something ain't never happened that it won't happen. I think it was just ordained by God for us to have a president. To break up the monopoly, what you call that word, and let us see straight that all men are created equal. And I think he just had Oracle is a very bright man. I think he's very educated, so therefore, I think he's fit for the job. And I think if God fired you, who can be against you? I think God was just on his side, and he come president. God don't have no respect for person. What we do.
okay. This is the last question, and I'm gonna kind of put a slight other question on it. What special thing you want the next generation to remember about the Smith family, Aunt Dora?
What a special thing I remember.
Like, for instance, if you want to remember that we're hardworking people, we're godly people, we're whatever you.
Oh, I want to remember that we are godly people. We believe in God, and we know if we put God first, anything is possible. And you got to learn that you can't get things on silver platter. You got to work for it. And we are believing working and going for ourselves.
All right, Aunt Glenora.
I think that in life you have to treat people like you want them to treat you. Try to love one another. You know what I'm saying? I think without love it's impossible to please God. So if you don't have love for one another, you can't, please nobody. And I think the Smith family as a whole, I think we don't always agree. But I think when one get in trouble, I think as a whole, we will come together. Especially when one get in trouble, we all combine. And I see that as a Smith family. We might be distant from you for this cause or that cause, but if you really need a Smith, we do come together as one.
Okay. Uncle Rogers, how about you? What do you want the next generation to remember about the Smith family? We love to eat. We like ground peas.
Well, there's nothing special I can say about this family, but long we don't get no worse than we are, I think we'll pass.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to close it out with this. Can each of you name a favorite dinner meal that our grandmother, who we call Mother, Grandma Della, cooked? We want to leave it with that.
Hello.
Yeah, Cousin Audrey walks through the door. Dora, we're going to start back with you. Name a delicious favorite meal
How y'all doing?
Mother's put together. Dora, name a delicious favorite meal. We're going to end on that
My
note.
mother put together. Oh, I can think collard greens, chicken back, stewed chicken, backbone sausage, field peas and snap, okra. And some rice.
Okay.
Maybe some cornbread or biscuits.
All right, Aunt Glenora.
Well, I remember her meals from, way before when I was young. I remember down south, I used to love to see Sonny come to get that good old stewed beef. I'm telling you, it's much different in that plate beef. I don't think you can find any plate beef like the one that we had down south. And that stewed chicken with that yellow rice in it. Oh my goodness, and the gravy was so good, just as good as the chicken. And so I remember down south when they used to laugh at my mother about her cakes. I I remember my mother. I always loved my mother and still love her to the day. And I didn't want anybody to say too much about my mother, but I remember my mother was doing it. My mother was a strong woman. She was a hard-working woman. And I remember one time I went to school one time, and my mother made me some socks. And I remember I thought Zedabel was against mother, because her and Roselle would get together and say, come here, Zedabel, look at that. So that's so much for that. But and my mother has always cooked collard greens. And another thing she used to cook too, I thought was a poor meal. She cooked white potatoes and that ham meat and them white potatoes and onion. Woo! And get you a biscuit. Oh, I'm telling you. And don't get that old sugar cured meat fried with some syrup. That's all I got to say. Everything she cooked to me was good. They laughed at her biscuit, but it was good. I mean, they were good.
Since Buddy stepped out, one thing, I didn't eat her cabbage years ago because my dad loved the cabbage fried, cooked all the pieces. I didn't think I loved cabbage till I came up here. I didn't think I loved cabbage at all. I couldn't stand them.
Okay. Didn't one time, Aunt Dora, you had a niece stay over your house, and I think you had some neck bones and
Stewed chicken.
and stewed chicken, and you were kind of busy that day, and you kind of want to tell us what happened with that.
I asked my niece now. I think that my oldest sister, oldest daughter, they just warm it for me, and she burned it up.
That was me, y'all. It's time for me to get in the film now. I'm gonna hold that valve. Can you see? Come over here.
I don't got your face yet.
Okay, get it till you can find me now. You don't have to move around, just move the camera.
Okay, now I got you.
Okay. That was me, y'all. Guilty as charged. But now my stuff don't burn. It tastes good. All right. We just want to say thank you. We had a special time today talking with Mother and Granddaddy's beloved children who are adults now, of course. And we just want those of you who watch this film, the purpose of you watching this film is to always remember to stay together. Remember from where we came and where we are today. Because many of us are growing up still trying to identify who cousin is this, who's your mom, who's your dad. You know, as time goes on, as life goes on, you were able to say, hey, our cousin Winessa put together this documentary to tell us who Vonish Smith was, who Della Smith was, who their children were, and how their lives were in the South to now. Because don't take anything for granted. Their hard time and their hard work brought us up to where we are today. Yes, there's been a recession. Yes, there's challenges with a job. But look at what they've gone through working at Olin Gun Factory. You know, they were able to persevere. Look at what they were able to get through. Some said they had some challenges in their marriage. It's because of our belief in God. And that is my main goal, that everybody would know about the Smith family, is that we have a strong faith in God. And I was just thinking yesterday, God just put in my heart the special love that he had for the Smith family. And I'm going to tell you why. Of course, I'm not older than they are, but from what I can remember in my experience, I remember many times my grandfather would have strokes and he would get sick, and Reverend Smith and even just his own children, they would pray, and God would bring my grandfather through. That I saw and witnessed my own eyes. I remember times me and my grandmother, we would go walking, and I remember one time I was on the porch and a stranger walked by, and I got to tell y'all this story. And I guess he was a little tipsy. I might have been 10 years old. Me and mother was sitting on the porch in Newhall Street, and we were laughing about something. And I guess in the drunk person's mind, it triggered him to turn around and start talking to us. And we weren't sure if he was going to come through the gate. And when he tried to walk up to the gate, mother jumped up and she pulled me behind her, and she was trying to push me to go in the house. Now, let me tell you something about the Pickett family. There's many of them, but let me tell you, on that day, I cannot tell you. I can't even begin to explain to you how, what is his name? RB. I cannot begin to tell you on that quiet street where RB came from out of the blue. All I know is, the next thing I know is that the RB jumped on that man, took that man down on the ground. This is something that I'm not learning from somebody, you all. This is what I saw in my own eyes, a little girl. Next thing you know, me and mother, we went in the house real quick, and we looked out the window. RB was gone, and that man was laying on the ground. And mother, she said, Lord, I wonder if he's dead. I said, oh no, mother, you know. And the man got up and left. I just want to give a shout out to the Pickett family. I love you. I thank God for you all. You know, I thank God many of y'all kind of like Peter in the Bible. But guess what? Peter would fight. Peter would cut an ear off. And he had to learn and grow some things. But you know what? Jesus never got rid of Peter. He kept Peter. Because sometimes you need to have somebody that, you know how to step up and,